YouTubers, today I'm going to show you how to stipple on the Curio. Now you can also stipple on the Cameo 3, but not on any of the other Cameos. You can only do it on the Cameo 3 and the Curio. What stippling is it's picking all these little dots come together in a picture. And I've done this on black paper, and yes, all of that little white is dots. Isn't that crazy? And then it's my state of Georgia. So I'm going to show you what you need and how to set it up on the Curio. Alright, so this is what you're going to need. You're going to need some kind of paper. This is black paper because I like the look of it, but you can use whatever color you want to. I would recommend a heavier cardstock paper rather than just thin paper. There's very little way you're going to get really thin paper off the sticky mat. These are the two kind of pens that I like to use the most. These are the ones I found the best, that look the best on the black paper, and that they're most consistent. Because you have to be careful. This is one of my earlier test runs. And see, the marker I was using ran out. And then I had to go back to another one, so it kind of looks a little goofy. The Sharpies work really well. They're obviously going to give you a fatter dot than the two finer tip markers. Now, I use the Chomas Marker Holder, not the pen holder, the marker holder. The marker holder is fatter and can hold more stuff than just the regular pen holder. This is partly because this is what I had. And the sketch pens suck at this, so don't use them. They'll make like 4 dots and then give up. So you're going to need some kind of marker holder. Silhouette makes one. I've never really used it. I had this one. So I will put a link up to all of this stuff on Amazon. If y'all could click and buy something off Amazon, that would be awesome. Let's go to the computer and set it up. I'm in Silhouette Studio already. This is the Curio cut base. I've already got it selected down here. I'm in the page design, page settings block over here. And I've got the Curio cut mat selected. This is the big base. That's why it's a little larger. And then I changed my width to 8.5 by 11 because it's a standard size sheet of paper. And then I did file and merge. This is going to be our new chunky swirl font, the H and the M and the E. I got the Georgia in here because I Googled it and then just traced it. So I got the Georgia in. But you can also pick any font. This is good old Arial. And you can stipple this too. It'll stipple designs, SVG files, and your individual fonts. So we'll go play with this. So I'm in my stipple window. Now the stipple window and the emboss window are only going to pop up. Well, the stipple window will pop up if you have a Curio or the Silhouette Cameo 3. Or in the embossing window will only open in the Curio. Also, your Curio needs to be set as the default cutter. So see, set as default cutter, or else it won't pop up. Also, mine says load media because I've already been playing with the Curio today. If you haven't been, it'll sync. Don't worry, it'll sync until you load the bases in it. So don't panic. So we'll go over here to stipple. Now you can stipple regular fonts, and you can stipple your SVG files as well. So basically at this point it just becomes kind of playing with it. So I always like to stipple the edge, but these are all personal preferences. And I like to stipple it and then have it come back down. Now I got the solid outline by having it come all the way down. I don't really recommend it. It was kind of a bit of a painful experience to sit through. So I would recommend, so you can still see the dots. And then you can make them all the same if you want to, or you can change them some. It just depends on what you want. But let's go over here to Georgia. So put your edge on. Now you can either do patterns. So in my original one I showed you, I filled in the H with this hexagon pattern. Now the spacing down here changes obviously the spacing. So that would be all tiny dots, and it would be painful to sit through. So you can fill it in, and then you can change the angle. For a lot of these, it's not going to really matter. But the offset is something you're going to want to play with. So the offset moves it either farther away or closer together to your outline. So depending on what you want. And there you go. And you can also move the stipple edge if you want to make it a little bit darker or closer together. Now Georgia I filled in with a shape. I filled in with the zigzags. And then you can play with the grid, and then this one, the angle did matter. And see, so I got him going sideways. And then grid spacing, of course. How close together they are. Ooh. And then your stipple space is how close together they are. Close together your dots are, and then how far apart they are. And then this is the offset again, so you can have it be further or closer to your outline. I've never noticed this to matter. It says you can make them bigger, but it's a pen, so I'm not really sure what it really matters. Oh, that's for print stipple, I guess. You want to print it. They also have this trace stipple. It just kind of makes a mess if I see it, so. But basically at this point it's play with what you want and get them to look like you want. So I will play with this and I will come back when I am done playing. All right, a little side note in here. If you have a word and you go to stipple it, it's going to stipple the whole thing all at once. Okay? Now, if you go back, hit undo. Now, if I weld this, if I go to modify and weld, now I could stipple them independently of each other. Just a little tip there. So let's delete him. All right, so what I've done is I've gotten all of mine like I want them to do. So I'm going to go up here to line color and make each one a different color. The reason why is because I want each one to stipple out a different color. So I want to have them all be different colors so the machine knows to stop between each one so I can change the marker. So I'm going to go to cut settings. We're going to use the advanced tab so that way I can pause between each one. So what I'm going to do is right click and it's going to say add pause. Right click and add pause. So that way, instead of going from instead of going from this color to that color to this color to that color without stopping, now it will stop. Now you could do the whole tool 1 and tool 2 thing. I only have one of the marker holder, so we don't get to do that. Now you're going to do cardstock, and I have already got mine set up, but you would click here and go all the way down, and that's where your sketch pen tool is. Mine already knows what we're doing. And so these are the bases that we need. I'll go show you how to set them up. I don't change any of this. So I'm going to go show you how to set up the platforms to be this tall. All right, so this is the big base for the Curio. This is not a requirement for this. You could totally do this with a little base. I had it because I found it on sale, and since we're using paper, I figured why not. So basically, the machine told me 2, 2, and 1, 1. So what that means is they have platforms. I don't know if you can see, but there's a 2 embossed on it. So you're going to have 2 2s, and then a 1, and then your mat is also a 1. What the Curio does is it needs to be 5 millimeters tall to operate. So you use these platforms as a way to make it that tall. So what you're going to do is you're going to slide them onto the base, lining them up with the holes in the mat and these delightful little clips. And this is just a regular mat. There's also a fuzzy one, and that is for embossing. So this one's fuzzy. Or foamy. We'll go with foamy. So you can clip all your little clips down. These have to be down because the machine's going to slide, and if it's not, it will eat the clips. So peel this off, and this is a brand new mat, so I went ahead already and used some cloth to make it a little less sticky, because if you put brand new paper on a brand new mat, it's not going to end well. So let's go back over to the mat. I'm going to bring my marker holder and my pens that I want to use. So, and we'll just go load them in. Alright, I want to show you a couple of things. So this is the power button. It is currently blinking because there is no base installed. This is the double arrow button, and it is how you load your bases, and this is your pause button. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your mat, and where the arrow is, you're going to put it all the way in. And when you're using the big base, make sure, because it's going to come right out the back, so make sure there's nothing in the back. And then we're going to push the double arrow button. And out it comes. Now we're no longer blinking, and on my computer it's probably no longer saying load media. Now I want to show you, before we load the pens, you're going to want to make sure it works. Also, the pen is going to be staying straight up and down. So where we write at an angle, make sure that your pen's going to want to write straight up and down. If it doesn't, it's not going to end well. Alright, so to load the pen holder, this is, see, you get a narrow end that goes into your base. So put it in there and then turn it. It comes with a popsicle stick. So what you do is you put your popsicle stick underneath your marker here. Unscrew this. And then your pen's going to drop out and land on your popsicle stick. So now what you're going to do is you're going to turn it till it's tight. And then there we go. So I'm going to go hit send a silhouette. And there it's making my dots. Alright, so you can kind of see my M is done. So what I'm going to do is put your popsicle stick in first. And then remove this. Also, this isn't the nicest thing to do to pens. So, don't do this to your favoriteest pen of all times, or a pen that really means a lot to you. Know that this is not really nice. So I'm going to drop it down. Screw this down. Remove my popsicle. You're also going to want to give it a couple minutes to make sure that the ink is dry. Okay, so I'm back up at the computer. For the love that is all that is holy, do not put the start button. It will confuse the crap out of the computer. What you need to do is hit resume cutting right here. If you hit the start button, it will put it in the wrong spot. Ask me how I know. So hit resume cutting, and the machine will start cutting again. Also, a couple other quick things I forgot to mention. You get to your design and place first, and then stipple. The software will bog down if you try to stipple and then move it. Alright, so to get the base out of the machine, you're going to hit the double arrow button again, and it'll slide right out. So what I'm going to do is pop this off and take my mat out. Now, a little trick to get paper out is to flip it upside down and peel it. Because even though I tried to make this mat a little less sticky, it's still fairly sticky. There we go. Just try to avoid any rapid peeping. So there we go. You can see it. And I will tell you, the Sharpie markers are a little bit better at avoiding the big dots where it starts. But for not too much trouble, I have an original piece of art that I'm going to hang on my wall. I hope you'd enjoyed watching. If you have any questions, please comment. Any suggestions for videos, please comment. Like and subscribe to our little channel. I'm trying to do more videos, so if you have a suggestion, let me know. Thank you for watching.